Welcome back to another episode of Neame versus the world on What Is Talk Like a Pirate Day. Arr! What's a pirate's favorite movie? One that's rated R. Oh dear. Today we go down the rabbit hole and I want to talk about interesting technology, and that is anti-gravity. The irony is that it's technology we perhaps haven't invented just yet. For all of the people out there who talk about anti-gravity, seriously, there are 10 times the amount of nutters and self-proclaimed couch scientists who think that they know how it works, or using some other phenomenon to make it work. Let's be clear at the moment. As far as we know, us humans have not created anti-gravity on the atomic scale, which then helps us levitate or fly using anti-gravity a spaceship. It hasn't been done yet. Heaps of people have got theories about it. Heaps of people say they've made things, but unfortunately when you look at the science, it's either ion wind or an ion thrust, or using sonic waves, or using some weird magnet in some way that's not ideal. A good one is the Back to the Future skateboard that was made. That thing only levitates when there's a big piece of steel underneath it. Well, in outer space there isn't a big piece of steel to put underneath you to keep levitating off of. It's just not the same. So let's be clear. Anti-gravity, the technology for it, as far as we know, doesn't exist. It's not like I can go down to what was Dick Smith Electronics or my local electronics store and buy a kit to put in my car to make it fly off the ground. The day that we can go to our electronics shop and buy something like that is the day it's a reality. So we've got a long way to go. Let's start the topic by talking about it deeply. Anti-gravity is a hypothetical force opposing gravity, according to scientificamerican.com, which is a reputable website. We need to find reputable people trying to research, test, and repeat. We need peer-reviewed findings with open critique. The challenge is to invent the technology. There are theories out there, there are calculations, but there are way more dreamers, DIY device builders, and hype and nonsense promoters. Any serious application of anti-gravity will require serious investment, serious participants, and serious scientists. I know that sounds like, who am I to dictate what the rules are? Well, we wouldn't have got as far as we have in medicine or in chemistry if we didn't have the rigor that we've had for it. Same as in physics as well, the Large Hadron Collider, they wouldn't have got to where they've got without the rigor, the money, and the dedication to getting a result. Same goes if we're going to actually have something with anti-gravity. Now, we can speculate all we want about aliens flying around in spaceships and saying, hey, look, they can do it. Wow, there must be a way to do it. Well, just use it as inspiration. But it's not like they've dropped off a book somewhere and said, hey, humans, here you go. This is how we do anti-gravity. You should take this and go for it. I'm looking forward to that day, but we haven't quite got there. Now, an interesting person, and Richard Crandall, I actually misspelled his name the first time. He was a musician, folk musician, and an album he created was In the Flowers of Our Youth. He lived from 1947 to 2012. Also a theoretical physicist, PhD at MIT, and that's not Manukau Institute of Technology. That's the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. That's really hard to say. Massachusetts. Cambridge, Massachusetts. Private, non-profit, yeah. It's in Massachusetts, established in 1861. It's played a key role in the development of modern technology and science, ranking among the top academic institutions of the world. There you go. I doubt I'll be going there. Yes, I already have a degree, but it's not a useful one. Now, he had a book, They All Told the Truth, the Anti-Gravity Papers, on the 28th of April 2003. Basically, that book is about the US government knowing and covering up anti-gravity technology. So interesting read if you go look for that. That's Richard Crandall, and the book is They All Told the Truth, the Anti-Gravity Papers. Quite an interesting read. Here are some key names in this anti-gravity field, science, and aliens that I think will help you in furthering your research into the topic. Bob Lazar, a toroidal field, general relativistic gravity machine, that's a crazy one, magnetism, obviously, unified field theory, and that's kind of to do with the Philadelphia experiment and all that sort of stuff, yada yada, 1921, 1922. Electromagnetism, Alcubierre drive, the warp drive, is what Mr. Alcubierre kind of theorized. Gravity emitter or gravity amplifiers, that's something that Bob Lazar spoke about. And a waveguide, that's another thing as well. So there are all these terms out there that people have somewhat invented or created. Some people have actually put some effort into this. Alcubierre is one of the people who's put some effort into it. And he wrote up some formulas and those sorts of things to see what kind of energies are at play. So you can work on the theory, but until there are technologies or devices that work on that theory, there's no result. We're just stuck here on the face of the earth, doing nothing. Still driving our cars and flying our planes. Now, you might say, hey, a plane is a form of anti-gravity, or a helicopter is a form of anti-gravity, or a balloon. Yes, but no, because they are actually flying in a medium which is the atmosphere. The propeller on a plane or the jet engine on a plane pushes it through the air, and the wings help deflect air down, and it flies up. A balloon, the air inside the balloon is lighter than the atmospheric air, and it rises. General science. Not anti-gravity. Now, you'll certainly know when someone's made an anti-gravity device and created a ship and flown it from point A to point B at the speed of next to light or whatever it is. It'll be all on the news, it'll be everywhere, because it will be finally achieved if our bodies can actually withstand the G-forces. Because the G-forces that would potentially be involved would be so great that it would smash us against the walls on the inside of the ship and turn us into a cloud of pink mist. Jet fighters, they can do about 6G maximum. In your car, you can probably brake at about 2G. When you've seen videos of what are UFOs being identified, and they fly quickly in one direction than the other, that would kill us. So I think whatever spaceships we create or anti-gravity ships, they'd have to be drones in the first instance. So you think your government is hiding the aliens and their spaceship and their anti-gravity research. Let me tell you, it's easier for a company to hide secrets, pay people off, hire private security, and work alongside governments, and hide from public information requests and maintain a chain of command of people not loyal to the general public. If you were ever looking for corporate institutions that may be able to have this sort of stuff, it would be maybe the Lockheeds, it might be the Skunk Works, it might be, put in top aviation company name here that does research in this stuff. If anything is owned and ran by the American government, people might request information. They'll want to see where the money for that budget is going. There are people that might become whistleblowers. But if it's inside a company, fewer people can know about it. Things can be done and compartmentalized a little bit more easily. And if someone says they're going to speak, you basically sue them into the ground. Or if you're one of those kind of companies, maybe you just make people disappear. Who knows? I'm not saying I'm not saying that they disappear, people, but you could. I hope I don't disappear. I've got a really good podcast to make tomorrow as well. If you think there is something to find or some hidden tech, I bet you a massive corporation has it. And no one will ever see it until they can make money from it. And that's the big thing. Maybe these people have got these technologies, but they can't do anything with it yet because they can't repeat or remake what it is they've got. So, what is the overtone to this little wee podcast? Why am I saying this? It is up to you to figure it out yourself. Take that degree in physics, artificial intelligence, material science, quantum physics, work at NASA, SpaceX, get a DARPA fund, learn, research, test, and create theories. The only way we are going to have true anti-gravity is if we make it ourselves. And I can't do it, but I'll try and inspire the hell out of other people to do it. And that's what the message is for this episode. If you dream about this stuff and you're still at the start of your career and you want to make it happen, take the degrees, take the jobs at those companies, and figure it out for yourself. The more people we have figuring it out or looking into it, the more chance there is that we'll actually develop it. But if you want to stay singular and by yourself and tinker in the shed, I get it, but you need to work with other people in order for this to manifest. Otherwise, it's just going to be one of those pie in the sky ideas. Now, there have been some promising technologies, which was ion wind propulsion and ion drives. Long story short, thrust goes out one end, you go the other way. That's interesting. Quantum locking with supercooled semiconductors is definitely interesting, and that's a bit like that skateboard from Back to the Future, where supercooled semiconductor magnets are floating on top of a steel sheet, and you can, twist it and position it in certain orientations and it'll stay there. Or you can float it across some things, but as soon as the magnet cools down or it comes off the metal plate that it's floating on, the effect disappears. Artificial intelligence, computing, and considering of billions of ideas and formulas and material possibilities. AI is probably one of our better shots at figuring out some of the plethora of options as quickly as we can and finding out, what materials can we create, how will we create them, what are some of the physics involved, how can we, start smashing numbers and figuring it out faster. The Large Hadron Collider and particle physics, that is going to be a big component of any true anti-gravity system. Understanding how on the atomic and subatomic level gravity actually works, and understanding when we smash these atoms apart, what's in them and how they react is the way forward. But be skeptical about when you see people who say, look at my anti-gravity device, and it's them in their shed with a ruler and some string and something bouncing up and down. Sometimes it's easy to want to dream about it and go, yeah, that's amazing. He's got it. He's figured it out. But you have to go through the research. They have to open up that information for criticism to prove that it's actually true. So it's up to us to figure it out or inspire others to do so. If it already exists in some corporation or government's warehouses, we can't wait for them, or if they have it at all. It's up to you on International Talk Like a Pirate Day. I'm neame. Thank you very much for listening to this short episode on anti-gravity. I would love to discuss this more. I'm always reaching out to people to find their views on these sorts of topics. Tell all your friends about Neame versus the World, and I'll catch you on the next one.